ERC was a lifeline to small businesses. There's a lot of noise in the system right now, but I think one of the message, to the point about not being emotional, if you're eligible and you qualify, you shouldn't have anything to be concerned about. It's a credit that Congress put in place for you to deal with COVID.
We have members and small business members who are claim the credit. Small business members who are entitled to it, that want to claim it, and they're having issues with, okay, do I have to amend my return? What does this mean? What is the process like? And then there are folks who are worried about, hey, I filed the claim, it's been 2-3 months, I haven't heard anything. And then to sort of hopefully increase the draw, the IRS announced this moratorium on processing of claims. So there's been a lot of interest. So I think it's a timely topic.
The IRS has issued a moratorium on processing claims as they try to take a step back and consider how to prevent some of the fraud. This doesn't mean that the ERC program has been shut down. It doesn't mean that they're no longer accepting 941X claims for the credit. They're just not processing the refunds right now.
Companies can still file claims for 2020 until April 15th of 24, and your claims for 2021 until April 15th of 2025.
They've recently announced that they are going to release formal guidance and process instructions on a withdrawal program. So if you filed and received or have not yet received your claim for ERC, they're going to provide a process by which you can withdraw your claim. Either give the money back, or if the refund hasn't been processed yet, just completely withdraw the claim so that you're no longer on their radar. Your claim's been nullified.
The only way that you would know whether you have a good claim or not is you're going to have to go hire somebody else to give it a second layer of review.
Yeah, and I think there's probably a lot of people in the audience, either here in person or virtually, that are wondering, well, how do I know? Like, without paying another person to tell me, how do I know if I've got a good claim? And I think, look at your file. You should have a file, number one. If you don't have a file that supports your ERC claim, I would be nervous. And then if that file doesn't include, for example, if you based your claim on the government order, partial suspension test, then you should have government order cited.
There's basically two ways to qualify. There's a gross receipts test, and then there's the full or partial suspension. The gross receipts test is basically math, right? You can figure out pretty quickly whether you qualify under that or not. But the full or partial suspension due to a government order in response to COVID, that's kind of gray. There's a huge resource issue for IRS. The less that they have to do, the better. If they can get taxpayers to unwind their own positions so that they don't have to deal with it, they're all for that. There are usually some carve-outs. I would anticipate that there would be carve-outs if you're already under audit. That's traditionally a carve-out. If you are somebody that, for whatever reason, may have been referred to IRS criminal investigations, that's also a potential carve-out. I don't anticipate a lot of small businesses being referred to IRS criminal investigations, but you could be connected to somebody who has been referred to IRS criminal investigations.
So your vendor, maybe.
Yeah, so if you used a certain service provider to file the claim and that service provider is under scrutiny, there may be a carve-out for there. They don't always do that, but that's possible.
Either way, large or small, you're going to have to show how you determined that you were eligible for those periods. And if you can show that, then you should be comfortable. You're looking for a reputable CPA that's comfortable with this, or a JD with the JD in tax that is comfortable with this. People with a background in tax that have done taxes for years. ERC is new, but it's based on other tax credit programs, so someone has experience with programs like this. I think you also want to ask questions about how do they document your claim, and if you get audited, are they going to be able to support you during an audit? Because if they say, hey, we don't, once we deliver it, you're on your own and figure it out on yourself, that can be a red flag as well.
So if you talk to someone and they're asking you good questions and they're trying to understand your business and understand your fact pattern, and that person on the phone is not entirely convinced that you have a valid ERC claim at the beginning, but maybe gets comfortable then working with you, maybe further into the conversation, and they understand your business, they understand you, your story, then that's the hallmark of someone who's listening and could be a good provider. Yeah.
If you haven't claimed the credit yet and you're thinking about it, I'd probably do it sooner rather than later. One of the legislative proposals that's floating around is to accelerate the deadline. Yeah, I just wouldn't sit on it.
We want to make sure that the companies that are eligible get this credit, but since there's not a ton of discipline by, as Matt said, some of the providers that are out there, we're dealing with a mess. And so this is their best way of dealing with the mess. And so, but the reality is, if there's a valid claim out there, then this stimulus was designed for that company, and they should indeed claim it.